The Young and the Restless spoilers Friday's weekly update June 21st, 2024. Victor Newman had always prided himself on being the pillar of strength in his family, the man who could solve any problem with a single decisive action. Today, he found himself standing in front of his daughter Victoria's elegant home, ready to resolve a conflict that had been brewing between his two granddaughters, Katie and Claire. The tension had reached a boiling point. Katie, feeling sidelined and overlooked, had been acting out in ways that were increasingly disruptive. She was jealous of the attention Claire was receiving, interpreting it as a sign that she was no longer loved or cared for as much as before. Claire, on the other hand, had her own set of struggles. Having been separated from her parents early in life, she needed all the love and attention she could get to fill the void left by their absence. As Victor stepped inside, he was greeted by the sound of raised voices. Katie and Claire were in the living room, engaged in yet another heated argument. Victoria, looking frazzled and exhausted, was trying to mediate but to no avail. Katie, Claire, Victor's voice cut through the noise like a knife. The room fell silent as both girls turned to face their formidable grandfather. "Sit down. We need to talk." Katie's face was flushed with anger and hurt. "Grandpa, it's not fair. Everyone loves Claire more than me now. Just because she's been through a lot doesn't mean I should be ignored." Victor sighed and took a seat, motioning for the girls to do the same. "Katie, that's not true. No one loves you any less. You're growing up, and people's ways of showing love change as you get older. It doesn't mean they care any less." Katie crossed her arms, her eyes brimming with tears. "But it feels like they do." Victor turned his attention to Claire, who sat quietly, her eyes cast downward. "Claire, you've been through a lot, and it's only natural for people to want to make up for the time you lost with your parents. But that doesn't mean you're more loved than Katie. It's different, not more." Claire nodded slowly, understanding dawning in her eyes. "I didn't mean to make Katie feel bad. I just miss my mom and dad so much." Victor leaned forward, his expression softening. "I know you do, sweetheart. And we're all here to support you. But that doesn't mean we stop loving Katie. You two need to support each other, not tear each other apart." The girls exchanged glances, and for the first time, there was a glimmer of understanding and reconciliation between them. Victor smiled inwardly, feeling a sense of accomplishment. But the peace was short-lived. Just as the tension in the room began to dissipate, there was a knock on the door. Victoria opened it to reveal Tucker, who entered dramatically, clutching his chest. "Oh, my heart. I think I'm having a heart attack," he exclaimed, collapsing onto the nearest chair. Victor raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. "Really, Tucker? Another stunt?" Jack Abbott, who had arrived just moments earlier, burst out laughing. "Oh, Tucker, you're like a child trying to get attention. Did you really think faking a heart attack would win Audra's affection?" Tucker shot Jack a venomous look. "You don't understand anything, Jack. This is more than just a stunt." Jack shook his head, still chuckling. "You're pathetic, Tucker. Audra doesn't love you, and no amount of theatrics will change that." The room was filled with an awkward silence. Tucker's face turned red with anger and embarrassment. Jack's words had hit a nerve, and it was clear that a confrontation was brewing. However, Jack seemed to lose interest in the petty squabble with Tucker. "Frankly, Tucker, I don't have the time or energy to waste on you. I have bigger fish to fry," Jack said, turning his gaze towards Victor. "And that means focusing on Victor." Victor met Jack's gaze with a steely determination. "Bring it on, Jack. I've always been ready for you." Meanwhile, across the Atlantic in Paris, Ashley Abbott was dealing with her own problems. Her health had been deteriorating, and despite seeking treatment in the City of Lights, her condition had only worsened. Realizing she needed to return home, she booked the next flight back to Genoa City, hoping to find the care and support she desperately needed. As the sun set over Genoa City, the Newman and Abbott families braced themselves for the battles ahead. Katie and Claire's reconciliation was just the beginning. The real wars were yet to be fought, and Victor, as always, was prepared to lead his family through the storm.